Hey everybody, welcome in to the second edition here of Keepin Up with Oak Mountain Athletics, live from Beef O'Brady's right off of 280 Brook Highland. We appreciate Beef O'Brady's for their sponsorship with us here with Average Joe's, allowing us to bring this content to you, come here every week and be live with Oak Mountain Athletics and keep everybody out there up to date with what's going on with the football team, volleyball team, cross country, and all the different sports going on here in the fall. Joined by head football coach, Coach Tyler Crane. And Coach, we did this last week, but we're doing it for real now this week. It is week one, or it's week 0, but week 1 on the football schedule. And you guys are going to have a big one as Northridge comes to town this week. And getting this jamboree in that you guys were able to play this past week, kind of talk about that game a little bit for us and just how important having that game was now for what you guys are going to be doing going in on Friday, and trying to win game 1 and start 1-0.
I think it was huge, having the opportunity to get a game under your belt, even though it wasn't a full game. We only played a half pretty much with the older guys. I thought it was really good to see where our guys were, get the kinks worked out. But the biggest thing was getting good film for us to be able to watch on Sunday, and it really made a difference with our guys.
When you look at the game on Friday, what kind of stood out to you? What were some of the positives, and then also what were some of the negatives that you guys have talked about and worked on during this week?
I think there was a lot of positives. I thought our run game was really good. I thought Trey Bassell and Davion Foster ran the ball really well. I thought our offensive line came ready to play and did a good job. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things we've got to clean up, but I thought for the most part they did everything that we asked them to do. Now, anytime you have a game like that, it's never as good as you think, it's never as bad as you think, but, having the opportunity to see those guys perform, it really answered a lot of questions for us.
When you look at Friday night and, we talked about last week the jitters and that type of stuff, and could you see that out there at the beginning of the game, just the guys being a little nervous and just, kind of being antsy for being able to go hit somebody else for the first time in a while?
It's funny. I don't really think that they were nervous. Having had Eagle Day the week before and us kind of going through with the crowd in the stands a little bit, and then, a lot of the guys played a lot of football last year, so I think that they were more excited than nervous to get back at it. Now, I'm sure some of the younger kids were a little bit nervous that got out there for the first time, but for the most part, I thought that they did a good job. I thought defensively we did a great job. Now, secondary-wise, I don't feel like we were tested as much as I would have liked to have seen, but, for the most part, I thought they did a really good job.
When you talk about some of the young kids, how important is a night like Friday night where they get to go out there and they know they're going to get to play, they're going to get to play, you guys prepare them for that, and then they're able to kind of see themselves and make some adjustments and grow from a game like that?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to look any further than the offense. Will O'Dell, he had some outstanding plays, and then he had some plays that I had to jump his tail about, and that's part of it. He knows that, and there was many times he would do something, he'd come straight to the sideline and be like, yeah, I missed that. But because he has seen that now, on this Friday night it should be a little bit different. So as long as he keeps growing, he's going to be fine, but just having that opportunity to see it and do it, and now knowing, okay, I see what you meant by that. And this week at practice has been daylight and dark.
Yeah, coaches talk all the time about you make your biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2. Do you feel like that kind of served as the game 1 to make some of the improvements that you want to see made going into the Northridge game this Friday?
I think maybe a little bit, but to be honest, I'd like to see us jump more than what maybe we do this week. There's still going to be things that we've got to get fixed. I know going into this week that there's going to be things that we look back on Saturday and say, oh, we should have done this, or, man, hey, we're this close to doing this, this, and this. So, yes, I think that definitely plays a big role, but I'm hoping that after this week we make another big jump. And I hope we keep making big jumps all the way to the state championship game. I hope that's what we do. We've got the kids to do it. We just got to put it all together.
One of the things that you touched on last week was some of the young receivers that you guys are going to be counting on. How did you feel about what they were able to do in the game on Friday and what that experience was like for them to be out there?
We made some really good plays. DJ Stone caught a bunch of good balls. Sawyer Smith made a bunch of good plays. Zach Fitzgerald caught the ball. Now we were very basic in what we did. We didn't try to show too very much. We were very basic in the run game and the pass game. But I thought for the most part we executed for the most part pretty well. Now there's some route running things that I'd like to see get cleaned up and things like that. And there's some quarterback things that I think we could clean up as far as accuracy and stuff like that goes. But for the most part, I think we were like 8 of 15 for maybe 145, 150, and a touchdown and one pick. We had one pick, but all those were learning experiences. Everything, like every incompletion, we were able to go back and go, well, you did this, but you could have done, and being able to see that makes a huge difference.
You kind of just touched on it being a little basic last Friday, not wanting to show too much offensively, defensively, in your pass game, in your run game. How tough is it to manage a game like that where, especially, once the juices get going a little bit and that competitiveness comes out, there's some stuff that you see where it's like, oh, I'd love to do this right now. How tough is that to not run some of the plays and not do some of the things that you see out there?
I'm going to be honest, it was hard. It was really hard. There was one particular play where they had some kids get, they kind of cramped up a little bit, and they put another corner out there, and I'm looking at my offense coordinator, and I'm like, go after it. And but we allowed Will to make decisions. Instead of telling him what to do, we allowed him to make decisions so that he wouldn't make mistakes so that we could get them fixed. So it was really hard to pull it in, but if we hadn't, we would have did him a disservice. Him going through what he did made him a lot better football player going into this coming week.
Yeah, you never want to turn the ball over and stuff,
No.
but, was the interception, is it almost like, I'm almost kind of glad he threw that because
Yes.
we're able to teach and we're able to kind of show things.
Absolutely, and it's funny that you say that because my offense coordinator and I both talked about it. Like, if we just, talking quarterback play, this is for every position, but if we said, hey, do this, and this, well, he's not growing. He's just doing what he's told. I want him to learn the game. I want him to be able to be the director out there and know, hey, when they give me this, I can do this. When they give me that, I can do that. And, as a sophomore, if you're learning to do that, and it's only going to make you better as a junior and a senior. And he is so smart. And every time he does something wrong, he knows. And so just watching him grow. And that's every position. That's offensive line, that's D-line, that's linebackers. Just let them make mistakes so that you can coach it.
Another biggest thing that offense coordinator, head coach, especially the offensive line coach can be looking at is the guys up front.
Absolutely.
How you guys were able to handle people up front. How did you feel about what the offensive line did, the communication, and just how all that went last Friday?
I thought that we did a really good job at times. I thought that there are a lot of things that we need to clean up as far as communication goes and knowing where you're supposed to go. And let me be first to say, there is a lot of communication that has to be had with our offensive line. With what we run offensively, those guys should be talking nonstop, constantly, this front, that front. They have to know what's going on up front and what they're in and making calls and stuff. By us having that game the other night and going at that speed, it allowed them this week to say, hey, we watched it on film and go, oh, I see, now I know, hey, if I get this, we got to make this call. And, it's not just offensive line, it's tight ends, it's sniffers, are we in this formation, are we in that formation? If we move, how does that change? And, if they're in a 4, they're 4-eye or 3, how does that change what we do? And, offensive line is, as a coach, to me, if you can coach offensive line, you can coach any position on the field. That is the most cerebral position on the field. It's the toughest. You got 5 guys that's got to be working in unison. But we got better. I thought that we played physical. That was something that we really did, play physical. Now, once we clean up the mistakes, we have a chance to be pretty decent.
Early in the season, is that kind of what you're looking for, though, the most is the physicality part? If you're coming off the ball, you can teach some of the other things that guys need to know.
If you'll play physical, we'll teach you where to go. And I'd much rather, and I tell the kids all the time, I'd much rather have to pull you back than have to push you forward. And so, that's something that we've really pushed this year is creating that edge, that physicality, We've gotten bigger, we've gotten faster, we've gotten stronger. Now we have to flip that switch and break the control and leave it on all the time. And that's hard for a high school kid. It's hard for them, I look at a kid like Luke Oswald, Sawyer Hodo, and Hudson Youngblood. We go scouts. They should be able to do whatever they want to. But I want them to play every snap as if it's, Friday night. And it's hard for them to understand why that's important until they start doing it and playing at that speed all the time. And then they realize, oh, I see why Coach wants us to do this. Well, I've been telling you 100 times every day, and now you're finally doing it and you see it. And sometimes it just takes a while for that light switch to flip on, and once it does, they get after it.
Running the football on Friday night, how did you feel about that? And, obviously the run's going to set everything up for you guys. So, how did you feel about how that was, and what have you guys worked on from that standpoint this week?
I thought Trey Vassell did a really good job. I thought Davion Foster did a really good job. I thought our freshman, Cameron Meadows, did a fantastic job. For a kid that's, 14 years old to be out there with varsity kids and getting after it, I thought he did a fantastic job. But we had a lot of good stuff on film. We talked about ball security this week, and it's good because you can go back and you watch the film and you can build your practice plan based off the things that you see that you need to fix. And that was the thing that we were able to do this week is what were our glaring problems? Okay, this, and this. All right, let's build that into our practice plan so that we can get better at those things this week so it's not a glaring issue on Friday night. So, ball, controlling the football, hand placement, all those kind of things are very important when it comes to playing a running back. You can run and cut and jump and do all that stuff, but if you can't hold on to the football, it doesn't matter. So that was a big emphasis this week, and we got better.
When you have a game like that, does it help in, warm-ups for a game? Everybody has a certain routine. They send special teams out and offensive line, whatever way that you do it. Was that a good night to kind of iron out everything for that, to where this Friday everybody kind of knows and it's going to go a lot smoother probably?
I don't know if there's another coach in this state that puts as much emphasis on special teams as I do. I believe that special teams is just as important as offense, defense, anything else. It can win you games. It can get you beat too. And that's just, to me, that's just a little thing that you have to take care of. But yes, knowing, hey, when we call attack, I'm on there. I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. And again, Eagle Day, the Jamboree, all that was great to see our kids be able to know, when I hear this, I got to be here. When I hear this, I got to be here. And so we've had 2 big run-through nights for that. So, leading up to this Friday night, I'm excited. I love special teams. I love trying to go block a punt. I love just the chess match with the kickoff and kickoff return and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's something that kind of gets left by the wayside sometimes. And your offense may be really good, mine may be really good, my defense may be really good, yours may be really good, but my special teams is going to be better than your special teams. And that's how we look at it each time, just because of what we do with it.
Is that something that you see the kids also taking pride in because of the pride that you take in it?
Yeah, it's taken us some time. But I think when they see our kids really take notice of things that we do, and when they see us take pride in something, they kind of reciprocate and take pride in it as well. And just having that sense of urgency when it comes to special teams, and I'll say this, I had to come apart today because we're doing field goal, we're in shorts and stuff, and somebody doesn't step down as hard as I think they ought to. Well, to me, that play right there gets you beat. That play, you don't know it right now, but because you step down and you don't give it everything you have on that particular step down, when we play Hoover or we're playing somebody and it comes down time to kick a field goal to win the game, you don't step down like you're supposed to, that guy comes through, blocks it, you can take all those memories right back to that moment that I didn't say something to you and you didn't step hard the next time, but now I'm going to jump your butt about it so that, hey, that's not going to happen. And so, little things. I think that's something that I harp on, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, just little things. Little things get you beat. And if you can correct the little things, all the big things take care of itself.
With the starters playing as much as they did on Friday night, how did you feel about their conditioning at the time, and then do you feel like that's going to take a step up this Friday night?
I thought it's funny because we talked about that. I actually talked to my coaches about that. I thought we looked like we were in shape. We looked like we were ready to play 4 quarters. And that's something that we pride ourselves in during the summer. Like I said, we talked about it last time. Godspeed has done an unbelievable job getting our kids ready. Injury prevention, just the stamina of it. Now, we're not where we need to be totally. We've got some guys that we've got to kind of, let's go. We've got to have a little bit better motor. But I believe for the most part, we are in a very good place when it comes to conditioning.
Coach, we're going to take a break right here, and when we come back, we'll talk about the Northridge game coming up this Friday night, all the keys to the games, practice this week, and all that type of stuff. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more here on Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics right after this. Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland, located off Highway 280, is a proud supporter of Oak Mountain Athletics and the Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics show. Come out each Wednesday night at 6 p.m. to see the show filmed live on location with various guests involved in Oak Mountain Athletics and enjoy great food and a great atmosphere, including 99-cent wings. Come on out to Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland and support the Oak Mountain Eagles. Welcome back in. Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics live from Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland right off 280. Make sure to come out here, enjoy Beef O'Brady's, especially on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. We'll be live here every Wednesday with Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics, where we'll keep you up to date with what's going on with Oak Mountain in football, volleyball, cross country, all the different fall sports going on. So make sure to tune in each week right here on the Average Joe Sports Talk Facebook page, or you can come right here and come watch the show live. We're joined by head football coach Tyler Crane. We talked about last week and the Jamboree game that you guys played, and now week 1 is here. You guys will take on Northridge on Friday night. And so tell me a little bit about this Northridge team, what you guys have been able to watch on film. I know they have a new head coach, and so there's going to be some differences from what they did last year into this year. How does that kind of change the way that you look at a team going into game 1 of the season?
Well, it's kind of hard. I watched film from them last year, but I know they had some people graduate and do this kind of thing. And fortunate for me, I was at Northridge a few years back for 2 years, so I know those kids, especially ones that are going to be seniors this year, and having built relationships with those kids, it's exciting. When we were scheduling this game, Coach Vickery was still at Northridge, and now he's at Pelham, so it was kind of a game to kind of get back to each other and get a chance to go with each other. And, so when he left and went to Pelham, their new coach came in, and I've gotten a chance to talk to him once. So he's been really, really nice guy, having a chance to talk to him. But, they're going to be a good football team. They have some really good players. Wilkin Formby, Baker Hickman, probably 2 of the better O-linemen that will play this year. P.J. Hall at running back is going to be really a force for us to have to take care of. They've got some good ball players, and like I said, having a chance to coach those guys when they were babies, it's going to be fun to kind of see how far they've grown up and what they've been able to do.
When you face a team that you've worn those colors before, you've been on their sideline, how different is a game like that compared to when you're playing, just a normal team that you haven't coached there before, haven't been a part of that place?
I mean, obviously there's emotions to it. You've known those kids, you've been around them, you've pushed them, and you hope that you've made those guys better ball players. I hope I didn't make them too good, because I want to win Friday night. But there's always emotions to it, and not just the kids, but some of the coaches. Having worked with some of those coaches and still being pretty good friends with some of those guys, it's exciting. You always want to play those guys and you want to come out on top, but just the relationships that you've built with those guys over the years, it makes it a lot of fun.
How different are they going to be? I mean, what are some of the stuff that you are expecting them to do that they weren't doing last year, or is it going to be a lot of adjustments on the fly Friday night?
I think it'll be a lot of adjustments. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I would think they would try to be physical and run the football and do that kind of stuff. And, you know, I wish we had some film on them. It would make it a lot easier, but, you know, it is what it is. We'll work on us this week, and when we roll out there, we'll hope that we've got everything planned out the best we can have it.
You talked about their offensive lineman is playing well on the defensive line, playing physical, and filling gaps going to be one of the biggest keys on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, playing physical up front is going to be the key every time you strap it up, and we've got to do a good job of that. I think assignment and alignment is always important from a defensive standpoint, and you know, I guess you kind of have to figure out, how do I want to attack this guy? Do I want to attack him with speed? Do I want to attack him with power? You know, what are we going to have to do to be successful? And I mean, when you got an Alabama commit and another Division I guy right beside him, that's tough. And I know those guys are going to get after it. They're going to play hard. I just hope we play a little bit harder.
How much do you feel like this is going to prepare y'all for what you're going to end up seeing in region play, facing a line like this, and you know, some guys that have that level of talent?
No doubt. It's invaluable. I mean, anytime that you can go against guys that are going to play at the next level is extremely important. I mean, we're going to play Pelham the next week that's got Division I guys. We're going to play Hewitt the next week that's got Division I guys. So, you know, it's nothing out of the norm for us. I mean, we do that a lot. That's just to me, and that's the blessing of playing in this region and playing in this area, is there's so many good ball players. But not only good ball players, but good coaches. So, you know, to me, I think it's not just the kids getting to go against those guys, but it's us getting to go against good coaches and kind of seeing where we are, where we need to be.
You know, you just mentioned the first three games. I mean, Northridge, Pelham, Hewitt, Trustful. How important is on Friday night getting off to a good start? You know, getting a win, starting the season on the right foot, building confidence, knowing that you're about to have to compete in the toughest region in arguably the whole entire country.
It's huge. Every game that we play before region play is huge. Every game we play in region play is huge. You know, having Hewitt week 3, first region game, you want to have some confidence before you get there. Those guys are going to be really good, and you know, we're going to make sure that by the time, I want our guys to make sure when we get there, we're confidence-wise where we need to be. You know, no offense to anybody that we play, but we got to go out and we got to take care of business, and it doesn't matter what color they have on.
Tell me about this week at practice. You know, we kind of talked about getting better going into the next game, that type of stuff. And so how have you felt about the way that this team has approached practice this week? Can you see a different type of energy knowing that game 1 is here? Just what have you liked about it, and what have you not liked about practice?
I mean, I thought Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday were really good. I thought today was because we were in shorts today, and we kind of do it a little bit different than some people. Our Wednesday's kind of like what a lot of people's Thursdays would be. It's getting, you know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday's more physical, you know, mindset, that kind of thing. And today is really a mental day. And, you know, we've got to work on that side of it. We got to understand that the mental preparation is just as important as the physical preparation. And we're getting better, but we're not where we need to be from the mental mentality of it. But also, you got to understand that these are teenagers. And being locked in 24/7 is really, really hard for them. And, but I will say they have done a really good job of that. We just got to continue to work on it.
You said that your Wednesdays are like everybody else's Thursday, so what will tomorrow be like for you guys in preparation?
So Thursdays we're in shells. We kind of, you know, and I to be honest, I kind of stole this from Coach Nix. But we're in shells on Thursdays, and it's really high tempo, thud practice. Really kind of get the body going again. You know, if you go in shorts on Thursday and you haven't done anything since Wednesday, your body's almost 72 hours without any contact. So, you know, we like to get the body rejuvenated, get the central nervous system firing again, and get our bodies ready for Friday night.
So with tomorrow, you know, today kind of being more of a mental day, is tomorrow still considered a mental day for you guys, and just focusing on doing things the right way? And you know, you want to see everybody playing fast and hitting each other a little bit, but really being focused on what you guys are going to be trying to do on Friday night and being in all the keys and that type of stuff.
Right. Well, we really preach, you know, all these kids want to go play college ball, okay? So we're going to coach you like colleges and professionals do. So we expect them to play at 100 miles an hour, but be it under control. And if you can play at 100 miles an hour and be under control, you don't have to worry about people getting hurt. Stay up, do all the little things right. So we go with the professional college mindset of we're going to play at 100 miles an hour all the time. We're just going to also be under control while we do it. And we've really seen a huge difference in that. When I first got there, everything they ever did was run through a wall, run through a wall, run through a wall. And it took us a while to get used to playing 100 miles an hour, but still being able to come to balance and do all the little things right. We've gotten to that point. There's still times where we have to remind them that, hey, we also got to play on Friday. But that's good. I like having to pull them back and push them forward. So, yes, you can always get a knee bump and stuff like that, but that can happen in shorts. So, we want our kids to play fast. We want them to play under control, but also understanding that it's mental, but there's a little bit of physicality that comes with it.
From a defensive standpoint, is tackling going to be one of the biggest things you're kind of looking for? Just guys being able to make that first hit, get the guy down, not allowing yards after contact?
Absolutely. That was something that we really wanted to see during the Jamboree, and I thought we did a fantastic job of it. Coach Sanford and that defense, they do tackling circuits all the time. I'm a big circuit guy. I love circuits because I think that gets everybody involved, people aren't just standing around, and you can do different things, so it's not monotonous. But we constantly work tackling, we constantly work, and kind of go back to special teams, we're constantly working special teams, we're constantly working tackling, we're constantly working the little things that can help us be successful. I don't want to get in a game and we have to put our hands team out there and they don't know what to do. We go through every scenario with them. So, that's just the minute details that I look for, and that just comes from the coaches that I've been with.
Walking out there on your home stadium Friday night, what are the emotions going to be like for you? I mean, kind of tell me what your first game of the season jitters are always kind of like as you prepare for that one.
I tell my coaching staff all the time, I'm a glass half full person all the time. I don't think I've ever, as a player, as a coach, I don't think I've ever went in a game and felt like, all right, we got this. You know what I mean? I don't mean to feel like a pessimist, but at the same time, I'm always constantly thinking, have I done everything that I can do to help our guys be successful? And I tell our guys that all the time. If I go into a game and we lost a game and I knew that I didn't do, and not just me, but our coaching staff, if we didn't do every single thing possible to get you ready to play in this game, I don't know if I could sleep. I couldn't live with myself. So I'm always constantly worried, did I do this? Did I do that? Did we discuss this enough? Did we talk about it enough? Did I overlook something that I haven't thought about? And it doesn't matter if we're playing the best team, if we're playing the Green Bay Packers or we're playing, whoever. I'm going to always be, did we do enough? So now I'm going to be excited. I'm always going to be excited, but I think as I've gotten more, mature and been in it a little bit longer, the butterflies are still there, but you learn to kind of control your emotions a little bit better.
How much smoother do things feel for you going into this season's game one compared to last year where it was year one for you here?
I think this year I got floaties on. Last year I was drowning. I'm not swimming yet. It's funny, I actually talked to Coach Glaze today from Cleveland High School. Me and him both were at Central Phoenix, and I asked him that same question. I said, are you swimming or are you sinking yet? He said, I've got floaties on. I said, you know what? I think that's about where I am sometimes. I got floaties on. So, I'm excited. This time last year, every day I was trying to figure out something new. This year I'm still trying to figure out stuff new, but I've kind of had a situation kind of like that before, so I'm trying to figure it out. But I've got some really good guys around me. I've got a great coaching staff around me. I've got great parents. I've got great administration. I've got a football mom, Lynn Swan. She's going to kill me for saying her name, but she does a fantastic job of doing and helping me with stuff that I may not have time to do. But it takes a village. I can't do it all by myself.
When you look at Friday night for the kids, do you feel like they're going to be just more comfortable with everything going into it, compared to last year? I mean, just knowing this is what we do, this is how the routine on Friday is going to be, this is when we're going to eat pregame meal, I mean, just all that type of stuff.
I'm a big routine guy.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I am a huge routine guy. And that's, I go back, our Eagle Day, like everybody's at the stadium having a good time. We bring our kids in at 2 o'clock, and we go in the locker room like we will at 2 o'clock when the bell rings. And at 2:45, we have special teams call up. And at 3 o'clock, we start doing our pre-game meal. And then at this time, we're lights out, hanging out. And then we're tape. And like we do that during Eagle Day, so there's no confusion. And then we had the jamboree, so we got to do it all over again. So the kids know, like they know where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, what they should be doing, how to get themselves prepared for the game. And, the quicker you can get kids in a routine, the better they're going to be. Anytime that a kid has free time or you put them in a situation where they're not comfortable, they haven't done this before, you kind of throw them off. So we constantly make sure that our kids and just the routine, to schedule it out as little downtime as possible.
At what point do you feel like during game one does it finally settle into being a football game and all the newness has gone away from the players and they really are able to settle in and just kind of do what they do?
Once the ball's kicked off. As a player, once the first play that I'm in the game and I hit somebody, that first contact, all the other stuff I was thinking about, so right, that's gone. Now we're playing football. So for me, once the ball's kicked off, all the other stuff up to that point doesn't matter anymore. Right? I'm completely focused in on what I'm supposed to be doing. So, it's as a head coach, sometimes it's a little bit different because you got to worry about offense, you got to worry about defense, you got to worry about special teams instead of one position. But having went through that last year and now into year 2, just having the learn of calmness, being able to keep yourself calm and not letting your emotions get the best of you. I think that's something that's really helped me get to the point now where I can kind of keep my emotions out of the game and really focus on the things that I can control.
What are your keys for Friday night? What is this team going to have to do well and on both sides of the ball to come away with a victory?
I think the biggest thing is we're going to have to play smart. We're going to have to protect the football. We're going to have to do the little things right. Got to do all the little things right. We got to block and just play our game. Execute. No freebies. A fumble, an interception. Maybe we got a chance to pick one off and we drop it. Like you can't give people freebies. And so we're going to constantly work on that. But do the little things right. Execute and play hard. And if you'll do those 3 things, you got a chance.
Coach, really appreciate you taking the time again this week to sit down and join us, preview Game 1 coming up Friday against Northridge. It'll be right here at Oak Mountain, 7 p.m. kickoff, and look forward to seeing everybody out there. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by offensive coordinator Ty Ward, and we'll talk a little bit about Friday night and the game against Northridge coming up. Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland, located off Highway 280, is a proud supporter of Oak Mountain Athletics and the Keepin Up with Oak Mountain Athletics show. Come out each Wednesday night at 6 p.m. to see the show filmed live on location with various guests involved in Oak Mountain Athletics and enjoy great food and a great atmosphere, including 99-cent wings. Come on out to Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland and support the Oak Mountain Eagles. Welcome back in. Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics live from Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland right off of 280. Make sure to come out here to Beef O'Brady's on Wednesday nights, 99-cent wings, and we'll be live right here every single week for Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics. We'll talk with football, volleyball, cross country, all the different sports going on in the fall. We're now joined by offensive coordinator at Oak Mountain High School, Coach Ty Ward. And Coach, Game 1 coming up now against Northridge. I talked with Coach Crane a lot about Friday night, the Jamboree game. Kind of give me your assessment a little bit about Friday night, what you liked from the offense, and also some of the stuff that you guys have been working on offensively this week.
I think overall we were pleased with what we did. You look at the stats, I think we went for over 400 yards, but what we weren't happy with was our finish. When you have 400 yards and only 2 touchdowns, something obviously didn't go right. We talking with our guys and just looking at our red zone opportunities and the way that, whether it was missing a call or fumbling or we threw an interception, pretty close to the red zone too. And it just comes to finishing drives. If you go 80 yards but don't get any points, that's not good enough. And we took a lot of film time to fix that. We took a lot of practice time this week and focused on finishing. And hopefully this week, we can keep that yardage up. I think we averaged 6.5 yards a play, which is awesome. But now we just need to put it in the end zone when we get down there.
Obviously y'all are going to do some different things now that the regular season's here when you get in the red zone and have some of those opportunities that you didn't want to show on Friday night. But is the big thing, just from a mental standpoint, your players getting used to, hey, when we get here, we expect to put the ball in the end zone and we expect to score points?
Yeah, I think part of it probably went to not showing all the tools in the tool bag. There was a lot of things that I'd look over to our O-line coach and say, hey, we can do this, and, it would be beautiful, but we didn't want to show all our cards. But I think it comes down to practice too. We go against a great defense every day, and it's our goal to make them look bad every day, just like it is theirs for ours. So, we're out there trying to score every time we can in practice, and we need to do the same thing in games. You look at our guys, I think some of it's probably experience. Last year was a little bit of the Evan Smith show, which was awesome to coach and made my job easy and just dial up ways to get him the ball in space. And this year we're a little bit of a group effort, and it's going to be a different guy all the time. I think last year we had a game where we had 6 touchdowns and Evan had 5 of them. This year, if we have 6, it's probably going to be 5 or 6 different guys. So it's just different guys stepping up in the right moments and getting used to finally being in the spotlight and being the guy that has to make the play. That's the biggest thing this year. It's not on one guy's shoulders. It's on 11 guys' shoulders this year. So I'm excited to just get to where we get into those game situations and finally see who is going to step up and who's going to say, hey, give me that ball. I want to get in the end zone.
Yeah, obviously with Evan Smith not being here, does that make some of the other players now mentally, do they feel like, hey, I've got to step up and I've got to be focused every play because we don't have a Division I talent back there to make up for some of the mistakes that we maybe made last year?
Yeah, I think from the biggest part was probably leadership. Evan was the guy obviously on the field, but he was also the guy in the locker room last year. And probably the biggest thing I've been proud of for Will O'Dell was his leadership. Like, Will O'Dell may not be an all-state quarterback yet, but he is an all-state leader, and he's doing a great job. I think he has taken over this team, especially on the offense. And for a sophomore, you don't get that very often. So it's, I'm excited that he's doing that, and then I need the other guys around him to kind of make it so on Friday night he doesn't have to be the guy, and he can just continue to be a great leader. And I think our running backs are doing a great job. I expect Trey Vassell to have a great year. I think Davion Foster is kind of the lightning to Trey's thunder, and those 2 guys are going to be fun to watch. Our receiving core is a bunch of new faces, which is great. I think DJ Stone is going to be a guy who can have a lot of success. We got a guy off the basketball court, Sawyer Smith, that was out there getting rebounds. I'm like, hey, why don't you come catch the ball too? It's a lot fun in the end zone. So, he was lucky enough to get in the end zone during the jamboree. He had all smiles on the sideline. I was like, hey, do you love that you're out here? And, he couldn't stop laughing, couldn't stop smiling. And that's why we do this. We want to see those guys have success. We want to see new players get a chance to shine a little bit, and I think you're going to see that on Friday.
Is that important, too, for a player, a guy that makes a decision like him to come and play football when he has that early success and it can kind of show, hey, the hard work I'm putting in is paying off and this was a good decision for me to come do this?
Yeah, I look back to my 10th grade history class. That was the first time I saw him. I said, why aren't you playing football? He was like, oh, I'm a basketball player. I was like, okay, you're 6'2", you might be a good basketball player, but there's a lot of 6'2" basketball players. There ain't that many 6'2" football players. And this last spring he came out and gave it a shot, and I was like, you're going to love this. You're going to have some success, and all it's going to take is one time. And after seeing him run off the field last Friday after that long touchdown pass, I think he's sold, and I think he's ready to go. So I'm excited to watch him grow. He's not a polished football player yet by any means, but he's got a lot of raw talent, and I think he gives us a dimension that we wouldn't have had, if we didn't have somebody just kind of walk out of the woods for us.
Also, when you have a guy like him come over from basketball who's obviously been very successful the last couple of years, do you think that he helps with the winning mindset and having a winning mentality coming in?
Yeah, I think with what we did last year and even the year before this kind of whole new staff got here, they've gone to the playoffs a couple times for football. Basketball obviously won a state championship a couple of years ago. I think Oak Mountain has had plenty of success. It's just not always consistent success. So what we're trying to do is instill not just teams. We don't want to just be a good team. We want to be a good program, and that means we're doing the right thing year round and trying to build our guys up and keep it flowing. We don't want to just have one year where they're like, remember that 2021 team that made a run. Like that's not the Oak Mountain that we want to be. So we're hoping to bring some consistency and hopefully build a sustainable program.
Any offense only going to go as far as the guys up front, so how did you feel about the offensive line Friday night and what they did, and what are some of the things that y'all worked on with them this week to set you guys up for success Friday?
Yeah, they're definitely going to be our backbone. We have 3 starters coming back. We have a really talented sophomore that played a little bit last year, and then we have another guy filling a spot that's learning and growing. That group needs to be who we lean on. Literally and figuratively. That's what we want to do. We want to obviously run the ball. I think every high school football team in the country would say if they could run the ball every play, they would. That group's done a great job. I think the biggest thing for them is what they look like now. And not just the O-line, really our team in general. You go back 365 days, we don't look the same that we do now. Our guys are 20, 30 pounds bigger, their benches are 20 or 30 pounds stronger, same with their squats, and it's showing on the field. Like where last year we might have been position blockers and just trying to hope we get in the way of somebody, well now we're moving them, now we're putting them on their back, and that's what I want those guys to do. I want them to play nasty, I want them to be strong and physical and get after people, and they've taken ownership of it. I remember, I think it was February, we had a team meeting and I looked at those 3 seniors and I said, this is going to be your offense. Like we're going to go as far as you guys want us to. And they took ownership of it and they've done a great job so far.
You kind of excited to kind of have the reins pulled off a little bit and be able to call some stuff that you maybe weren't able to call this past Friday night?
Yeah, I think that'll be great. We've been working stuff all for months now, and then we get to Friday night and I looked out at my call sheet and there's like 3 things written down. I'm like, what are we going to do now? Like I don't know how I'm going to get through this game with only running a handful of things. So I'm excited that if we get in a situation where I know X play is going to be the right thing that we need to do, now I have the freedom to let it rip, and it definitely makes my job a little bit easier. I think the kids like it because they know that now the things that we've been working for months, they can actually do. There was times we'd have kids run off the field and say, Coach, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? I'm like, well, there's coaches up in the stands, and we don't want them to see this yet. So I'm excited. I know they're excited, and I look forward to throwing out a few more wrinkles and showing the fans and showing all the people at Hermod on Friday night what we're going to be like.
Right now, when you look at the forecast, big chance of rain on Friday night. How can that change the way that you have to call the game and change the way that you guys have to play the game, that type of stuff?
Well, I think it changes some process-oriented things. We have to do a great job of switching in and out balls. We have to have people with towels all over the place, making sure everybody's staying dry, the balls are staying dry, hands are staying dry. I think a lot of that is more process-oriented more than what we're calling-oriented. If we get a dry ball out there, even if it's raining, the 4 seconds it's sitting on the ground before we snap it is not going to be that big of a deal. Our kids are used to playing on grass. They're used to playing on a slippery surface, so I don't think that'll affect us much. I think if anything, it's probably going to hurt the other team more. We're going to hang our hat on our O-line either way. So if it's a torrential downpour and we can't throw it, then that's the group that I want to be able to lean on anyway. So we're gonna see what we can do and try to run the football. And obviously, I think we still have 3 or 4 really good receivers that can get in space and do some stuff. So I'm excited to be a little bit more balanced this year, as opposed to last year where pretty much everything started and ended with Evan Smith, and he was able to open up some things for other guys. But now we're calling plays for a different guy every single time down the field. So it's definitely more exciting for me.
Do you feel like, new staff over at Northridge, is there going to be a lot of adjustments on the fly for you, calling plays formation-wise and figuring out what they're going to be doing defensively for most of the night?
Yeah, I think that's going to be that way kind of every week, just because we don't look like exactly how we did last year, so teams are going to have to kind of feel us out too. I think a couple of their guys on defense are similar staff, and there's a little bit of continuity there, so they may be a little bit more similar on defense than they will be on offense. So we have an idea, but the first 2 drives is always kind of, get it on tape, check it out on the sideline, run a few different things to kind of see what they're going to do to it, and then go from there. I think that's one thing our coaching staff prides ourselves on, is that if it turns into a chess battle, we feel pretty confident that we can win that battle. So that's on us, and then the kids just got to go out and execute.
Do you script plays to start a game, or do you just kind of go by how it feels?
I don't script too much. I have categories of plays and different situations that I may look down at, but for the most part, you build a call sheet, but then you never look at it. Just the act of building it is going to put it in your head, and then once you get out on the field, you already know what you want to do. You already know what plays are going to be your go-to and different down and distances and different field zones. So for us, it's more of, we know what our bread and butter is. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to make adjustments as we go. And if we need to make little tweaks or throw in little wrinkles for something that they're doing, we're going to do that to be successful.
How important do you feel like the first drive of the night is going to be Friday night, getting off to a good start and just kind of setting the tempo for the game?
Yeah, I would argue that I would love to have our defense out on the field first, just because I think any team, wants to see out and go out and get a stop, and that really sets the tone. But if we're on offense, I think our mindset is always go score. We want to be successful. We want to set the tone physically. I want to see their guys go backward on the first play. I want to know that we're going to control that line, and that's going to be kind of a mainstay for the next 4 quarters, and try to wear them down and try to be physical and have it be a grinded out game for us offensively. And I think you go against most high school teams, they're not going to want to do that for 4 quarters, and that's where we're going to start to beat people.
What are your keys for this offense? What are you going to be looking for, and what's the things that you think are going to make this offense successful to score enough points to come away with a win?
I think the biggest thing is one finish that we didn't do last time. I think you have to obviously sustain drives, but then when you do have a good one, you need to get your paycheck. You need to get in the end zone. There's no sense in working all week and not getting paid. So that'll be the big thing with our guys. Just make sure we finish our drives, protect the football. I think you can't turn the ball over. You got to be able to obviously work the clock and keep the ball in your hands. If the other offense doesn't have it, they ain't going to score very much. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to control the clock, control the flow of the game, and then just finish the drives. That's what it comes down to. And it's not just the drives. We talk about it every play with our guys. If it's a block, you need to finish it to the whistle. If it's a run, you need to make them feel it to the whistle. And that's kind of the mindset I want our guys to have, that we're going to be physical, we're going to be fast, we're going to do all the little things perfect, and we're going to do it for 4 quarters.
You excited about being at home to open up the season?
I do. I love Herdmont. I've bounced around, I guess, in my career to a bunch of different spots, and I've kind of fallen in love with just the atmosphere there. I think our community's great. The band's awesome. They get after it. A lot of people hate our grass, but I kind of love that people don't want to come and play on our field, and our kids are like, this is ours, we own it, we love it, and there's nothing like Herdmont on Friday night.
Coach, really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and join us this week, and good luck to you guys. I'm excited about the season being here. I'll be down in Montgomery tomorrow for the kickoff classic, getting all that going, and then I know you guys will be kicking off Friday night with Northridge at 7 o'clock, and a lot of other places will be kicking off, and finally got high school football season.
It'll be a fun week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's going to do it for us here on Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics. We'll be back here next week on Wednesday, 6 p.m. live from the Beef O'Brady's Brook Highland right off 280. We'll be back with Keeping Up with Oak Mountain Athletics next week.